This is your family's first and most important line of defense against Mother Nature. When she strikes, make sure you call the people that I trust, my family and friends at Exterior Home Solutions.
Exterior Home Solutions 2-minute drill on this Tuesday. Got to hear from Tim Banks and Alec Ablin and a quartet of Vols. Tim Banks, you can tell he's pretty pleased. I mean, he's never one that's going to boast or brag,
right.
But deep down, he's feeling like his unit's really playing well.
Well, no doubt, and they are. I mean, he should be pleased.
Sure.
He should like where they're playing, but he's excited about where this group is, and you can tell, his excitement level. He likes his depth, but I think he likes the competitive nature that this group has and the competitive nature that they're playing with right now at all three levels. The linebackers are playing well. I think he's been pleased with the secondary. The communication was better in week 2, and they're just playing really hard up front. And he's believed in that front. I mean, he's the one who labeled the best in the country, on them back in the spring. And I think they're living up to his standard and his expectation for them right now.
Yeah, he talked about the standard, something Josh Heupel talked about, coming out of the game on Saturday. You hear from Alec Ablin and, that 12 personnel, he likes it pretty good. I'm not sure they'll do that every week, but if the defense rolls it a certain way, Josh Heupel's proven he doesn't care if they throw it 50 times, run it 50 times. At the end of the day, he just wants to be ahead on the scoreboard at the end of the game. He doesn't care how it gets there or how you paint the picture.
Yeah, I mean, he's not so obsessed with some numbers that they've got to throw it, or it's, he called it laughable yesterday when labeled an air raid type deal. So, yeah, they're going to do it any way necessary. I think where Alec Ablin's pleased is just the growth and how far Kitzelman and Holden Stays have come within this offense. I think it's probably what maybe the difference between a year ago and this year with those guys is just the football IQ. And that's not a knock on McCollen Castles. Just come out of UC Davis. He was more of a receiver than he was a blocker. He didn't have a whole lot of blocking understanding. I think when you talk about Stays and Kitzelman, both those guys understand the leverage game better. They understand the physicality of it better. Their football IQ is a little higher, which means they could go faster with those two guys.
We've talked to Jermon McCoy before and some of those players, but Max Gilbert we have not really talked to outside of just a little deal. He just impresses me. You can tell he loves Tennessee. 1, 2, like you talk about confidence. I mean, he said whether it's kicking 25 yards or for the national record, like he feels he's going to make it. Like he's just that kind of, gets back there, doesn't bat an eye. Talked about just how they, kind of create a tunnel around them during practice to try to, get to their head, and Heupel's in his ear, and he goes, it can't be any harder in a game.
Well, I don't know about that, because it's hard to put the pressure on the practice field on you that you have if it's a game-winning kick. I thought his kick at the end of the first half was a meaningful kick. I thought you could see the reaction from him and from Jackson Ross. It was to go out there as the clock expired in the half. I know the game wasn't on the line, but they set that drive up to get him that kick. They played for the kick once they got the penalty, and for him to go out and execute, I think was big. We talked about it, before the first game. He needed to get some kicks under his belt. He's 5 of 6. Getting, going into this week, and then obviously on the road and conference play when it gets a lot harder. So I think they feel comfortable where he's at, and obviously he does have a ton of confidence in himself.
For those that have asked about Jacoby Thomas, he's not doing media today if he's got any kind of real long-term deal with his shoulder. So that's a great sign for Tennessee.
Yeah, and I think the other sign for Jacoby Thomas that's really good for Tennessee fans is how comfortable he's getting in this system and in this program. I think he's settling in pretty nicely. I think the other safeties have helped him. I think the question is going to be who's the fourth safety on this team. Is that Slaughter? Is that the freshman Farouk? Who is that going to be? I think is something that you're trying to identify this week. That's the importance of this game, is to identify some of those things that you need to know and have a better handle on as you get ready to go into this gauntlet of games you're going to play.
You'll go on the road the 2 weeks after that, or 2 of the 3 weeks after that, because you got the bye week in between. And guess what? There are a limitation on number of bodies you can take. So you got to decide who makes the travel roster, who doesn't make the travel roster, and Saturday will go a long way towards deciding that. He's Brent Hubbs. I'm Austin Price.